Do you remember that moment when a Turkish drama character completely knocked the ground out from under your feet? When you just sat there thinking, how is it even possible to hate someone this much and still not be able to look away? Today, that's exactly who we're talking about. Not the charming good guys with kind hearts, but the ones who shattered the mold and lived on the edge, making your heart race with fear, anger, admiration, and pain all at once. Right now, you're about to see 10 Turkish drama characters who share one thing in common. They're impossible to forget. Yamak, the Pit. At the center of the story is an entire neighborhood in Istanbul living by its own rules. No police, no state, just the Koçovali family who have controlled this district for generations. This is the Pit. Yamak is the youngest son of the family. He ran away from the neighborhood at 18, became a chemist, a musician, fell in love, built a completely different life. It seemed like he had escaped, but one day, the Pit called him back and he returned. On the outside, Yamak is a soft-spoken young man, but inside, he's a volcano. A man who doesn't want to be who he is by blood. Someone who fights his darker side every single day and loses. Again and again. And the audience watched that battle for 4 seasons straight, unable to turn away. Yamak is a rare kind of character. Not a villain pretending to be good, and not a hero who occasionally makes mistakes. Yamak is a man stuck exactly in between. And that's what makes him feel unbearably real. Aras Bulut İynemli, the actor behind the role, admitted that it wasn't easy and required deep emotional immersion, especially in scenes following the loss of loved ones. Vardalu, the Pit. But the Pit has another character who, for many fans, even overshadowed Yamak. This is Bartolu, played by Erkan Kolçak Kostendil. Vardalu storms into the Pit with one goal, to destroy it. Ruthless, unpredictable, dangerous. In the early episodes, viewers hate him. And for good reason. He's the enemy. A threat. He destroys lives. But then the writers make a move almost no one saw coming. They show what's underneath. And it turns out that behind the mask of a mafia leader is a boy who grew up without a father's love. Vulnerable, broken, yet capable of real loyalty. He just never had the chance before. And when Yamak and Vartolu go from sworn enemies to something that looks a lot like brotherhood, it becomes one of the most emotionally powerful turns in the entire series. Some viewers call Vartolu the most layered character because he feels real. His journey from hatred to acceptance is something you don't just understand, you feel it in your gut. Ferhat, Price of Passion. Ferhat is a professional killer, a man with a gun and blood on his hands. And he's the main character. Ibrahim Çelikol took on the role and played it with almost no words. Strong physical presence, a heavy gaze, minimal explanation, maximum impact. Ferhat doesn't talk about himself. He doesn't justify anything. He simply exists, and that alone creates pressure on the viewer. And then he meets Aslı, and everything he thought he knew about himself starts to fall apart. It happens quietly, almost imperceptibly. And that's exactly what makes his scenes so painfully intense. Ferhat is the kind of man you can't excuse, and yet you can't stop loving. Emir, Endless Love. Endless Love became the first Turkish series to win an international Emmy in the telenovela category. And one of the key architects of that success wasn't the romantic lead, but the antagonist. Emir Kılıçdaroğlu is rich, powerful, and used to getting everything he wants since childhood. He's obsessed with Nihan, a woman who loves someone else. And instead of walking away, he blackmails her family, forces her into marriage, and destroys the lives of anyone who stands in his way. What few people know is that the role of Emir was originally meant for another actor, Furkan Andic. He turned it down at the last moment. Then, Cihan Albora stepped in and turned Emir into a phenomenon. Viewers truly hated him. They wrote angry comments, called him the most disgusting character in Turkish dramas. But then the show revealed his loneliness. His obsession rooted not in emptiness, but in pain. And in that moment, alongside hatred, another feeling appeared: empathy. And that mix of emotions is what made Emir unforgettable. After Endless Love, Cihan Albora started receiving offers from American producers and even appeared in the series Jack Ryan. But for millions of viewers, he will always be Emir. Kartal, the bad penny. There are characters you love. There are characters you hate. And then there are the ones you can't look away from without even understanding why. Kartal from The Bad Penny is exactly that. He was played by Aras Bulut, an actor many viewers barely knew before. But this role made him. The series dives into an underground world of money, power, and people who stopped dividing life into right and wrong a long time ago. Kartal is a professional hitman, a man without attachments, without illusions. So what is it about him? He doesn't shout, doesn't beat his chest, doesn't deliver speeches about honor. He just exists on screen, and somehow that alone is unsettling. Cold professionalism. The look of a man who has already decided everything. Aras played this role with his body, every movement, every pause. Kartal is one of the few characters in Turkish television who genuinely makes you uncomfortable because he feels too familiar. Familiar, like a system, like a world where the rules are written by those with money. Miran in Constant Love. Now, let's talk about a character who probably generated millions of words online. And most of them revolve around one question: how can you love him, knowing what he's done? The series begins simply enough: revenge. Two clans, a long-standing feud. Miran is supposed to marry Reyhan from the enemy family and destroy her. It's all calculation. No feelings involved. But then, at some point, without even realizing when it happens, you start rooting for him. Akın Akınözü, in the role of Miran, portrays a man who doesn't understand himself. Miran is convinced he's a villain, that he's incapable of love. That revenge is all he has. And that's why every moment when something human breaks through that armor hits so hard. The series aired in more than 40 countries. And everywhere, the reaction was the same. How can you hate and love the same person this much? That's Miran. Ramo. There's a certain type of character that doesn't come around often. And that's exactly why they stay with you. Ramo isn't just a crime boss. He's a man with a code, his own truth, his own system of justice that doesn't align with the law or conventional morality, but is completely consistent from within. Murat Yildirim took on this role after years of working in television, and Ramo became a different level for him. Because here, he showed something very few actors can pull off: tenderness inside toughness. Ramo can make a brutal decision and moments later hold his child with a warmth that takes your breath away. That contradiction is what makes him real. Viewers fell in love with him, understanding his motives, sharing his pain, and forgiving things they might never forgive in real life. Ömer, Love for Rent. Ömer from Love for Rent, played by Barış Arduç, is pride pushed to the extreme. Hurt that turned into personality. A man who felt wronged by the entire world and decided that's just how things should be. So what's so unforgettable about him? The answer is precision. Barış Arduç played it so accurately that viewers recognized real people in Ömer. Sometimes even themselves. He's not a villain, not a hero. Just a man who couldn't choose between love and pride for far too long, winning over audiences with his resemblance to the protagonist of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. Okay, but why Ömer on this list? You might ask. There are plenty of characters in Turkish dramas who lock their hearts away and then fall for a woman who's full of life and emotion. That's true, but Ömer was the one who set the template. The original, and that's exactly why he earns his place here. Cihan, Far City. Mardin, an ancient city in southeastern Turkey, where the stones remember more than people do. This is where the story of Far City unfolds, an adaptation of a Lebanese hit that surpassed the original in ratings by episode 5. Cihan Albora is the head of a clan. Cold, strategic, dangerous. One of the most influential men in the region, living by rules written long before him. Ozan Akbaba was the first actor cast in the role. In interviews, he admitted he felt an immediate connection to the character, even recognizing parts of Cihan in himself. And you can see it on screen. Cihan doesn't play power, he is power. But the series slowly reveals another side. Behind the facade of an untouchable leader is a man who closed off his heart a long time ago. A man who believed love was a luxury he could never afford. And when Aya, the widow of his late brother, enters his life, everything he built over the years starts to crack. Viewers called Far City one of the most unexpected breakthroughs in Turkish television in recent years. And Cihan, its symbol. Aslan Soykan, the family. Aslan is a nightclub owner and the heir to a criminal empire run by his mother. He has everything: money, power, looks. And yet, inside, he feels trapped. His family controls every move he makes. The criminal world he wants to leave behind keeps pulling him back in. Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ played this character with a level of restraint that's rare for his career. On screen, you see a man who's tired, who wants a different life, but doesn't know if it's even possible. The family became one of the most talked about series, and Aslan Soykan proved that Kıvanç Tatlıtuğ can still surprise audiences, even when they think they've already seen everything he can do. 10 characters, 10 stories. Which one is yours? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious, and I read every single one. And if you want to follow up, hit like. I'll make a list of 10 unforgettable female characters next. See you there.